All right, so this video's purpose is going to be discussing how to find winning creatives in SMMA, in addition to hooks and the type of content that's needed from your clients to absolutely crush and get the best results as possible so that you stop churning and actually build a long-term sustainable agency. Now, it's important to stay up to date on the latest meta updates. And this is extremely important because, for example, one of the recent videos I made was on the Endro meta update. And if you don't understand what this update is, if you have no idea about it and you are running ads for your clients or in e-com or whatever it is, you're going to be like, what the hell is going on? In case you run into ad fatigue, in case you're like, my ads just stopped working. And so it's extremely important to stay up to the latest updates because you need to use everything to your advantage. And if you don't understand what's going on, you're basically just walking through a forest completely blind without a flashlight or anything to navigate your way. And so here's the truth. You're going to have to test your own on your own. If you think you could just hop into a paid group, take their service delivery, set and forget campaigns, you're wrong, and to stop thinking this way. Like I speak about multiple times, it's about how we frame things. And yes, of course, you need to frame things that entrepreneurship, starting an SMMA, it's not going to be easy. And that's why so few people actually make loads of money with it. And that you need to set the right expectation as well with media buying, and that it's not you need to test. If you just join these paid groups and take their content, take their service delivery, and just set and forget, like, yeah, of course there is a certain degree of truth in that and that it can work, and that's fine. But the more clients you're going to get, the more problems you're going to run into, and if you're not equipped with the right skills to handle these problems, then you're just going to be basically burning and churning, and that's it. Now test your own, find what works, use your brain and get creative. Guys, we have a brain for a reason. If you're just an idiot or a donkey and you just can't use your own brain, you take everybody else's, you copy, copy, copy. Yes, again, there is some degree of truth in that and that it can work, but over a long enough time horizon, you're going to fatigue out because you aren't equipped with the right skills. So one of the ways, let's talk about KPIs and then we can talk about creatives. So KPIs, honestly, guys, I don't pay too much attention to KPIs, but what I do look out is when I start the ads, and if the individual ad has 150 spent and over 3,000 clicks or impressions, cut the ad. If there's no lead. Now, KPIs, 150 spend, 3,000 impressions, cut the ad if there's no lead. This is extremely important. I mean, I've heard sometimes from, some of these groups that I'm in where people are just spending like $300 on a lead. And it's like, what are you doing? You're just absolutely wasting your clients' money. This is absolutely unacceptable. And there's a very strict list that I follow. Now, in addition to that, when it comes to the actual media buying itself, one of the ways you have to look at ad sets is pockets of people. And this is really important. And this is a massive golden nugget that if you do implement, you're going to get better results for your clients. So think of ad sets as pockets of people. Now, like I was talking about, this is how I thought about ad sets before the Andromeda update, and still is. Now, it might perform differently with this new update because what typically would happen is sometimes if ads would fatigue out over the course of 3, 4, or 5 days, they would rip and then they would just kind of die out. What we can do, so we could just say, okay, it just hasn't reached the right pocket of people yet in their service area. So what we would do is we would just simply duplicate the ad set and change pretty much nothing and kind of brute force our way for a meta to get our ads to work. Now we've done this 2, 3 times, and sometimes on the third time, sometimes even on the fourth time max, it would rip. And this is like a massive golden nugget that not many people think of. Like, yeah, of course, if it rips, then that dies out. Sometimes people might think, oh, okay, just fatigued out, new creatives, new hooks, new offers, whatever it is. But sometimes it just hasn't reached the right pocket of people. But now, of course, with this new update, we need more diversity in our hook story and offer, and so it's going to use its AI system or whatever it is to kind of find the right target audience through 10 different creatives in one ad set under a $50 a day ad spend. And I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out in the future with duplicating ad sets, the new update, and how it's going to go from there. So in addition to that, the content that's actually needed, Guys, the more personal, the better. People don't want to be sold things anymore. People like authenticity. People like real people, and people buy from people. And if you could build authority and respect through content from your ads and portray it to your clients' target audience, then by the time they get to the appointment and try to seal the deal, it's going to be an almost no brainer. And we need to portray that our clients do amazing work at fair prices. Something that really works well for me, guys, is sales copy that brings a client through a story of your clients' home success, of a exterior remodeling job, and bringing them through like what the pain points are of that homeowner. Of course, you open it up with a hook, and then you could do like top of funnel to bottom of funnel, kind of similar in that sense, where you're bringing people from a story to then the CTA, to then a landing page, to then qualifying questions, to then a calendar page, to then all the automations on the back ends for your clients. But people like stories, and yourself included. Like, think of some of the best storytellers you know in your personal life. When they've told a story, everybody shut up around them. Same thing here. Our brains like to think in terms of stories, and it wants words and sentences that are easy to read. And so you could just simply ask on the onboarding call, hey, has there ever been a time in your career where a homeowner was super skeptical, nervous about the job, but ended up moving forward with you because of what you did, because of X, Y, and Z? Ask them about that, get their information, of course, record the fathom, make sure it's recorded, and then go back, put that into words. You could use ChatGPT, but use your own brain, for God's sake. You could write your own ad copy. And one of the hacks about ad copy is that specifics beat generalities all the time. And at the end of writing copy, read it out loud multiple times. And if it seems choppy, fix that part. So this is interesting because the way our thoughts are, or when we think things out, it oftentimes limits critical thinking, and we skip around. And so when we say things out loud, it's able to be a lot more articulate and specific. That's why if you get into an argument over someone with I don't know, politics or someone, and they can't think critically about the first basic point or two that they're making, and they can't dive deep, it's because they've just been stuck in their own brain and stuck in their own echo chamber for however many years, and they haven't had to face an actual conversation. Same thing with copywriting. Read everything out loud, because our brain, again, skips words, skips thoughts oftentimes. And that's why when you write things out, it often creates a lot more clarity. And when you think in terms of, and when you have a lot more clarity, you can kind of cut through the noise and be a lot more sharp and precise and specific, while also keeping it simple, because simple is what matters. And simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Awesome. Now let's go into ads library. And guys, this is pretty straightforward. We're going to go roofing if we're in roofing, and we're going to be looking at new ads, right? Like, if ads have been running since the summer, or for at least in the last 2 to 3 years, it's a good ad. And so what does that mean? That means it seems to be working. And what we can do is we can test different things. Russell Brunson, Expert Secrets, he consults businesses for $1 million a day. And what does he want to figure out? It's either the hook, the story, or the offer. Where is any business on earth? Where are they going with this? And how can we improve on this? And so let's see. For example, so this is a job ad. I'm sure they're a job recruiter, position recruiter. Okay, let's see, guys. Roofing business owners want to pay the kitchen table. Here's how it works. So this is definitely ChatGPT. 5-star, 67 plus reviews, ultimate, unlimited, paper appointment. Like, this has been running since November 10th. Oh shit, November 10th. that was 2 hours ago. Maybe that wasn't the best example, guys. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Oh wow, these are all running today. Okay, this is really interesting. So what we can do is we can just see what everyone's testing. Like honestly, again, you have to use your own brain here. Selfies work. This looks like AI. Is this AI? Yeah, this is definitely AI. But guys, the more personal, the better. Selfies work with their crew or with themselves, just smiling on top of a roof or with the roof in the backgrounds. Yard signs and then them in front of the yard sign in front of the house also works as well. Is this AI as well? Guys, what is going on? This looks like AI or am I going crazy? Is this AI? Guys, I think I'm going. I don't know. I can't tell. This is actually one of the scary things about AI. We don't know. Okay, let's see. And guys, you need to get content from your clients. You need to get content from your clients. And you could ask them, tell that story, yes, of course, through the sales copy, but also in front of a house with a homeowner. Well, not with the homeowner, but in front of the house, doing a job, a video by yourself, talking about it. Start the video off in two, three different hooks, and get that information, get those videos from your clients, and test them as soon as possible. And you're really going to find out what works as quickly as you test things, because speed in business is everything. The longer you wait, the longer it is you are it's higher a higher likelihood that you actually aren't going to do something. So problem delayed, problem multiplied. So the speed at which you're going to know is the speed at which you test, and that's important from sending a message to your client to the content that's needed and getting them kind of building urgency around them, because it's their results and they should care like you. So guys, I hope this video kind of helps with media buying, and that there were some massive golden nuggets I dropped with the creatives to do, how to write sales copy, the KPIs I do, the ad sets in case you run into ad fatigue, and setting the right expectations that you have to use your own brain. And if you just go into a mentorship and copy their service delivery, yes, of course, it works in the short term, but over the course of a long enough time frame, you're going to lose, and that's a fact because you aren't using your brain, you aren't getting creative, you aren't testing your own things, and when push comes to shove, you're like, "What do I do?" And you're just going to throw in the towel because you gave up, and we don't want that. So I hope this video helps. 5 massive golden nuggets I dropped, and I hope you could take something and apply it to your own service delivery. And if I can get specific on sales copy and creatives, but I think I spoke about and more than enough information that's tactical and for you guys to apply right now, like starting literally today. But I hope this was of value, and I'll see you in the next.